Academy. This week we're going to be taking a look at The Things I Used to Do by Eddie Jones, aka Guitar Slim. This is his 1953 recording, which was produced by a young Ray Charles. He had played a lot of his formative years in New Orleans, and that influence really shows in his music. This song is no exception. It has that signature 12/8 shuffle time. So for every beat in the bar, we've got a triplet feel. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So if you keep that beat in your mind, even throughout the verses when we're not actually playing a whole lot, that rhythm is underlying. We leave that space for the rhythm section. Okay. So the song begins on a 5 chord. The things I used to do. Something like that. Okay, so the band will have come in there on beat 1. The things I used to do on the E chord. And you play this little riff just as the vocal line finishes. The things I used to do. So somewhere around beat 4 of the first bar. Okay? And then we'll be straight into the A chord. So that riff itself, he uses that throughout the song to sort of respond to the vocal line. And he'll vary it many different ways, but one way to play it is just to go. So hammering on the B string, 2nd fret, and then hit the E string twice. I'm using my fingers to play that. If you use the plectrum, you just alternate pick it. But if you use your fingers, index and thumb on the B and E string, and go thumb, index, hammer, and then thumb and index on the high string. And that way you'll kind of cut the string as the fingers cross each other, like this. Get that sharp sound. I think that's probably how Eddie played it. That's how it sounds to me. You'll notice Eddie's guitar tone on the recordings. He's really pushing his amp to the max. He really was a pioneer of the distorted sound decades before other people thought to do it, you know. And if you've ever heard the lesser known fable of the extra long cable, that's Eddie Jones. He's the guy that had the 300-foot long cable and would walk literally around the venue out onto the street and stop traffic with his guitar. That's that guy. Okay, anyway, back to the verse, okay? So we played the first phrase, and then he'll just sing the same line again, the things I used to do, over the A chord, and then we return to the E chord. He doesn't really play anything here, back to the E chord, and you rest on beat 1, and then we play the signature riff which crops up throughout the song in the verses. It's like this. Okay, that's the first part of the phrase. The response to it will be. Okay, so once again, the first part, we're playing triplets here. Rest on beat 1, and then. And again slowly. Okay, and then coming out of that, you go straight to here. Just a little pull off at the end, and again. Okay, I'll put those two ideas together. Oh, missed it. Okay, so that's pretty much all of the things he does in the verse. That first riff I played, he will vary that many different ways, as I said. So he might play it just a variation, just really running around. Any way you want to express that, it's just a short little phrase using those notes. You could even go, yeah? But the more you do, the less effective it is. It's really about how punchy the riff is. So keep it simple, whatever you do there. Okay, so that's pretty much the verse. Towards the end of the verse, he plays a little different riff to bring it out. As we come to the end of the first verse, he'll play. And that's implying the B chord. The actual underlying harmony is just the root chord there. at the end of the verse. The last bar of the verse is an E chord. Oftentimes in blues you might play the 5 chord, the B7. The band are not playing the B7 there, but he implies it there, see? He rolls on the E on the 3rd, hits that open E string and the B bass. So it could be an E chord with a B bass would be the way you would reference that perhaps. Anyway, I digress. So that would pretty much take us into the start of the solo section. So let's take a look at that now. Try and think about the solo as a series of phrases that are connected. Phrases that he uses a lot of repetition of ideas. So let's look at the first couple of phrases, which are basically very similar to one another. Okay? So at the end of the last bar of the verse, he'll lead in with this little hammer-on, very much like the riff he played earlier, and then he goes into this triplets idea. Okay, once again. Okay, and then he'll follow that with basically the same riff, but this time he'll play the 2 strings together here, so he'll go. Alright, so that's the first 2 phrases, and then moving out of that he's going to go up around the position of an E chord up here, up at the 7th and 9th frets. So he just does the hammer on to lead into that. Okay, so once again that riff. And then we're into the next phrase there. Okay, so the first 3 riffs together. So as you see there, I'm going into the next phrase with that little. So the way to think about this phrase is this. That sort of major scale melody he's running there. He's really running down those major scale tones, okay? The way he's doing that, he's got this little hammer on, up to the 5, slide off, then the hammer on again, up to the 4, slide off, hammer on again, 2nd. So just think about it like that. 5, 4, 2, and then all of that. And then I want to land on the E root on the D string. Okay, so all of that together. Okay, and that's the first section of the solo. Moving into the next section, again we've got another sequence of phrases which he repeats and then answers. So quite simple stuff, all in the same region of the guitar. It's really about the timing of the phrases. So I'll try to replicate that as best as I can. So going into the next part. Okay, so that phrase once again. Okay, and the next phrase. So 2 of the same thing back to back with just a small pause in between. Once again. Okay, and then following that with. To finish. So all of that together. And that brings us round to the end of the solo. So again, you'll see it played at the start of the video. Just run through that, listen to the original recording for more on the phrasing and the timing of the phrasing. And also, when you play along to the original recording, you'll need to put the capo on the first fret to play out of an E position, as we are doing. It's just much easier to do that, to have the open strings, rather than try and play it out of F. You'd have to do a bit of extra work there, so easier for us to play out of E. Okay, one final thing to think about in closing. If like all this soloing is not your bag and you just want to play a bit of rhythm guitar along with this track, you can easily replicate the bass figure. And we don't want to tread on the bassist's toes too much, so we don't want to play here too close to the bass. So let's move up the neck a little bit and get sort of middle tones. So we're going to take these 3 root notes of the 3 chords in the song: E, A, and B, or 1, 4, 5 chords. Okay, and we're just going to play the same figure over each chord, starting from the root note. So it goes like this. Okay, so index finger sliding up to ring finger 2 tones above. Note of A flat. And then landing on the B. Same idea, starting from A. B, A, now you'll notice underneath here on my index finger at the 9th fret I have the E triad. So if I run up and down here, it's really an E pentatonic, major pentatonic idea underneath my fingers right there. All of the scale tones are right there under the fingers. Similarly, when you move to A, you've got all of that right there under your fingers if you want to add a little more colour. So. Oh. Some nice ideas there. Keep it simple, don't mess up like me. Alright, have fun with that, folks. I look forward to seeing you all this week. Take it easy. Cheers.